I think that one thing that people need to realize, as I track a lot, when I say track, is I investigate and run down a lot of the different cave structures and labyrinths, etc., you'll find a lot of them are turned into military bases and they're off limits, okay, to archaeologists. A good example is China Lake. China Lake has the naval weapon laboratory there, you know, all the stuff that goes on in China Lake. But it's true in so many different parts of the country, you know. What people don't understand is that when the giants were fleeing, you know, from the wrath of God in the Middle East, literally, they built phenomenal underground tunnels, underground, if you will, cities. You can go to Turkey and Cappadocia and see the most incredible underground tunnel structure in the world. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Okay, and then you can go to a place called Nemrut Dag, D-A-G-H, and you can see 7 giant thrones that are on the plains of Nemrut, which basically people say, oh, that was one of the kings of, you know, the time that built it. There were 7 kings of the plains of that specific area, and George, you'd have to be about 24 to 28 feet tall to sit in those things. So, you know, there's all these interesting artifacts all over the world. And then he also made reference to the gentleman in Utah. By the way, if the gentleman in Utah is listening, please call me at that 1-800-424-7870. And, George, if anybody else out there in Ohio, Pennsylvania has any of the original stories out of the newspapers. By the way, during the turn of the century into the early 20s and 30s, the American newspapers were riddled with stories of giants 12 feet tall, copper armor, all sorts of weapons of warfare. Barry Fell, who I believe now has passed away, wrote 3 great books for the listeners out there, America, BC, Bronze Age America, and Saga America. And he was a Harvard ethnologist and president of the American Epigraphic Society. He's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, even to the people that just absolutely turn livid when you mention his name, that America was settled thousands of years ago by a lot different people than, quote, you know, Leif Erikson and the Vikings.
Wildcard caller, you are on the air. Welcome to the show. Hello? Wildcard caller? Well, we have no time for you. We will clip you off and go west of the Rockies in California.
Yeah, hi, gentlemen.
Hi there.
I don't know if you heard Stephen Hawking said that he predicted a new species of human on the planet within the next 1,000 years, which I thought was an interesting prediction out of the blue to me. And also I have in front of me some pictures of gold engravings from the Kimball Cave pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kimball was on Art Show, and we got him off the website.
Yes.
You've seen these, I suppose, huh?
I have not. Stephen, you have.
Yep.
Oh, I think that's just amazing, you know, that they are, you know, Egyptian folks. I see it no big deal, you know, getting across the ocean in the Atlantic. You can drift across, you know, with a sail you can get even faster. Makes me wonder what sort of ships giants would have, you know. You're talking about oar strokes, and I was thinking it would be quite the thing to see a gigantic ship built by giants. But it reminds me of Planet of the Apes, too. I was just watching that a few different times, and it's on HBO now, so looking at it carefully, and it dawned on me after, like, the last time I saw it that this could actually happen, you know, that one species could take over another.
And it happens all the time, doesn't it, Stephen?
Well, you know, when you're talking like Planet of the Apes, let me share this. If you've got a bunch of people then let me just say this again, not normal by our standards, but are set on world domination. It's kind of like the movie Universal Soldier, okay? You can create a bunch of hybrids, and in creating those hybrids, you take away all conscience, you take away, any propensity to show any mercy, and you can make the ultimate killing machine. Imagine something that has the same desires as, basically turn a bunch of giants into great white sharks on the land, and I don't mean literally fish, I mean with the appetite that you could have, and I think it becomes a fascinating topic for the future.
Were there any female giants, Stephen?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, again, when the angels, and understand this, a lot of people say, well, Jesus said in heaven they're neither given or taken in marriage. Well, that's in heaven. God's fury came down on the ones that committed sex sin. It says that they're reserved in Tartarus. And interestingly enough, in Greek mythology, Tartarus is an area below Hades where the primeval deities, the Titans, were basically chained up. And the Titans, you remember the story Clash of the Titans, you know?
Clash, yep.
Well, the interesting thing about the Titans is you have a specific group of fallen angels that committed sex sin. Those ones are locked up until the end times, and then guess what? They get loosed again, according to, biblical prophecy. Then you've got a bunch of fallen angels out there that didn't commit sex sin that are still, if you will, vying for planet Earth. And a lot of people say, well, I don't believe in angels. Well, the point is that you can certainly believe in what you can see. And George, we're talking about some of the bones that just the femur of some of these people are 72 inches to 84 inches long.
That's almost hard to believe, but you're right.
It is hard to believe. And you're talking about people that can rip out trees just by hugging it, And so, for instance, in Texas, okay, this is a fascinating story. In Texas, they had 9 to 12 foot tall, what are called the Karankawas, okay? Kind of like Chiricahuas, only Karankawas. And the tribal name, and they were all cannibals. And when you get into the Anasazi of the Desert Southwest, Discovery Magazine carried a fabulous story on what happened to the Anasazi. And what happened to them was the same thing pretty much that happened to Easter Island. Their mysterious disappearance is everybody ate each other out of existence. National Geographic carried the story that, by the way, the Eastern Islanders or the Rapa Nui were cannibals, and they used to have a curse. Here's their curse. Your grandmother's flesh lies rotting between my teeth.
Oh, what a great thought
that's a lovely thing. Hi, but you get invited over for dinner. Hi, you're next, The point is that, again, the infinite amount of, or maybe massive is a better word, the massive amount of information, the massive amount of skeletal remains, the massive amount of not only oral tradition, but written diaries, digests, people running into this stuff in contemporary history, and yet people say, well, I don't believe it. Well, to that I just say, live in denial.
East of the Rockies in Kansas.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you.
Okay, I have a comment and I have a question. My comment is, I believe that Father Malachi Martin was silenced, and wrongfully so. And I was going to ask your guest if he believes in Bigfoot, and if he does he believe that this creature is connected to what he's talking about?
All right, good question.
That is a great question. Yes, I believe in Bigfoot. When you go to understanding Bigfoot and the Sasquatch and all the different names, whether it's the Chinese version or every place in the world seems to have it, yes, I believe that there are, how should I say this, transgenic species. In other words, people have been messing with this stuff, or even say the entities. An interesting thing, with every abduction that I know of, pretty much, that, and I used to catalog, George, all of them, there's this sexual thing. Everybody's always playing around with either the egg of the woman, the sperm of the man, and these people feel violated and raped.
Right.
All I can tell you is with the almost exponential speed of genetic engineering and cloning and everything I've talked about with the whole soul catcher, I believe that Bigfoot and all those things are real, and even the latest hair sample of the last Sasquatch could not be DNA typed to anything that's currently known.
Wow. Currently known. They couldn't put it together.
They couldn't put it together. In other words, it didn't match the great apes. It wasn't human. It was something other than that.
First time caller.
Hi there.
Yes, sir. You are on the air.
Oh, this is a wild night. You guys are creeping me out. I'm watching the Perseid meteor shower from the coast of Mississippi.
Oh, you got to tell me. What do they look like? Is it grand?
Oh, no, the Leonoids last year was grand. This is cool.
Okay.
They're nice. And I've noticed that throughout recorded history and what we've been able to tell of prehistory and legends that come down, events like the Leonoids of last year are noted and passed down from generation to stories. You were talking about fallen angels and the Himalayas, meaning fallen. Relationships to that, is there any chronological correlation to the legends of giants in conjunction to meteor showers?
All right, any tie in there, Stephen?
Yeah, that's a great question because, yes, very specifically, the bottom line is that falling stars, if you will, and that's what they were called prior to be officially known as asteroids and comets. The point is that the ancients always believed that when they saw meteor storms and they saw the other thing, that if you will, heavenly beings, those from heaven, were actually coming to Earth. Now, it's interesting that the word angel actually means messenger, and it also, and like I said, star, okay? The Hebrews taught and antiquity taught that each one of the stars was a specific abode of an angel. So there was always, in essence, comets were a foreboding of evil. And it's interesting because that's why all, and I say ALL, of the ancient civilizations were so concerned with what was taking to heaven. They looked at the stuff as omens, and they looked at the different placement of the planets. And what's interesting, George, is like the Dogon tribe, D-O-G-O-N, in Timbuktu. And I used to think, man, is there really a place called Timbuktu? It's in Africa. They actually knew about the dog star in Sirius that you cannot see with the naked eye.
You're absolutely right.